I want you to help us understand the significance of the Royal Lodge, but also understand what it is like dimension-wise, so we understand what they're searching.
Royal Lodge was a fight. Andrew did not want to give up this home. The king had been trying to relocate him for years to minimize his presence, but it wasn't until he was stripped of his titles at the end of last year that the king was in a position to also evict him. We view Buckingham Palace as the symbol or the household for the British royal family, but the reality is no one currently lives there. The former Queen Elizabeth preferred Windsor Castle. The king lives at Clarence House, and now Prince William lives on the Windsor Castle estate. As heir, William didn't want Andrew's scandals to taint this sanctuary for his young children. So Andrew secured this in 2003 via a long crown lease after the Queen Mother's death in exchange for paying to refurbish the property. So 30 bedrooms, 300 teddy bears, if we're being honest, and God knows what else.
Oh, yeah.
It would be full of decades of secrets. And the fact that the king evicted him before the Easter deadline that we knew about tells me that investigators were nervous about things getting mixed in the shuffle of moving to Sandringham, things getting tossed in a trash bin, thrown in a fireplace. I think that this was very astute of the investigators to pounce in the way that they did.
That's a really good point. I'm curious what was left behind, what might be there, because what are your sources telling you about the search? Are they trying to find, I don't know, emails, documentation, anything related to the misconduct in public office, potential charge, you know, the idea that he was sharing information? Or do you know if they're looking or have found evidence related to Epstein and sex crimes?
Well, officially, law enforcement is searching for hard drives, receipts, schedules, handwritten letters, and anything that might point to a national security threat. Unofficially, they are collecting any and all evidence they deem credible for the other 8, maybe even 9 at this point, agencies that have started investigating Andrew for multiple crimes, and to your point, including sex crimes.
By the way, how's Andrew's family doing with this news?
They've completely gone no contact. Prince William's been frustrated about this entire thing forever, and I think that he's glad that it's come to fruition, but he also realizes that it should have happened forever ago. It's my understanding that Andrew's daughters are devastated, although you saw those DOJ documents. What adult woman jumps on a plane to go visit with a convicted sex offender right after he's released from jail? Andrew's daughters. Fergie's a mess. So everybody's taking it, you know, one day at a time. But I think the royal family was ready for this to happen because they need to distance themselves. They have to show that they do not have a similar moral compass.
And it was quite the statement from the king to not only basically say you're on your own, but this crown is not getting involved in this investigation whatsoever. And I think for optics point of views, that's a really important point. I understand the government might be considering legislation that would, remove him from the royal line of succession? Because what is he? Is he 8 right now?
He is 8. I mean, it's highly unlikely that it would ever come to fruition, but I just think it's for optics. And to your point as well, the king is in such a difficult position. It's here in the United States, it's the people versus. But over in the UK, it's the king versus defendant. Prosecutions are brought in the name of the crown, not an individual victim or the police. As monarch, Charles cannot testify or be a witness in his own courts. A prosecution could completely collapse. So he is limited in his ability to respond, to react publicly, to even communicate with his brother, because it's him. It's the king versus the defendant.
And I want to just be clear about something about the potential charge here. This all came out because of the files, right? These emails where he was allegedly sharing information to Epstein about his work as a trade envoy. I mean, this wouldn't have been discovered if this wasn't released?
Correct. I mean, you know, Andrew told us that he was clean as a whistle. He stopped associating with Andrew. The second Andrew was a convicted sex offender. And thanks to these documents, we realized he lied upon lied upon lied. You know, there's Ghislaine Maxwell saying that picture with Virginia Giuffre is a real picture. You know, that BBC interview, Andrew's like, oh, no, it's photoshopped. So we learned so much through this DOJ dump.
And I know from a legal point of view, they have to prove that it was willful, that there was no valid, legally justifiable excuse to share information, that it was confidential in one way, that it was incredibly egregious. But at the same time, having some of those emails that I saw, and particularly if he's forwarding things to Epstein without any explanation, that could be problematic. Kinsey Schofield, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.